I'm about to show you the best way to naturally increase your libido. Your body has one job: survive. And the way it's been adapting to your daily habits is by shutting down the exact systems that fuel energy, confidence, and drive. But once you fix these habits, it will naturally increase fast and you'll notice a huge boost in drive, passion, and output. I'm going to show you a science-backed breakdown of what to eat, how to train, and which signals your body's already giving you that most guys ignore. This is a full protocol to revive that fire that drives you forward. What you're about to learn rebuilt my system from the ground up, and it'll do the same for you. First, you need to understand what I call the libido triangle. Think of your sexual health as a three-legged stool. Remove any one leg and the whole thing collapses. The first leg is fuel, what you put into your body. The second is move, how you train and recover. And third is monitor, the signals your body sends you every single day. Most guys focus on just one of these. They'll pop a supplement or hit the gym harder, wondering why nothing changes. But here's what the research shows. These three systems work together. When you optimize all three, they create a synergetic effect that multiplies your endocrine system, the hormone factory in your body, by tenfold. And it all starts with the foundation that everything else builds on. Here's what's happening inside your body right now. You think you're eating enough, but your endocrine system is screaming that you're in survival mode. There's a phenomenon researchers call metabolic suppression syndrome, and it's killing your libido without you even knowing it. When your body perceives chronic energy restriction, it doesn't just slow your metabolism. It systematically shuts down what you consider non-essential functions. And the first thing on your list is your reproductive system. A landmark study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology followed men who were eating below 25 calories per kilogram of body weight. Within just 2 weeks, their testosterone levels dropped by an average of 23%. Picture this, you're a 180-pound guy. That's about 82 kilograms. If you're eating less than 2,050 calories per day, your body thinks you're starving. It doesn't matter if you feel fine. Your hormonal system is already pulling the emergency brake. The solution isn't just eating more, it's eating strategically. You need to signal abundance to your endocrine system while providing the specific building blocks for hormone production. Most guys think cutting fat will help them look better and feel better, but researchers looked at multiple studies and found that men on low-fat diets had significantly lower testosterone than those on high-fat diets. We're talking about a 10 to 15% difference in total testosterone levels. That's the difference between feeling like you're 35 and feeling like you're 50. Your target should be 25 to 35% of your daily calories from fat. But not just any fat. You want to emphasize monounsaturated fats from sources like olive oil, avocados, and nuts, plus moderate saturated fats from quality sources like egg yolks and grass-fed meat. Here's a practical example. If you're eating 2,500 calories per day, that's about 625 to 875 calories from fat, or about 70 to 97 grams. A 2017 study in rats found that extra virgin olive oil is better than butter and cholesterol for testicular health and potentially testosterone production. For protein, you want 0.8 to 1 grams per pound of body weight if you're active. The remaining 40% of calories should come from quality carbohydrates like vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. These complex carbs fuel training, support performance, and help regulate cortisol, a hormone that directly affects free testosterone. The Mediterranean diet stands out as the gold standard for male hormonal health. It's rich in fruit, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, olive oil, and fish. Studies consistently show that men following that diet have higher testosterone and better erectile function than those on a standard Western diet. But even perfect macros won't save you if you're missing the micronutrients that actually build hormones. There are three that most guys are critically deficient in, and it's probably destroying your libido without you even knowing it. Zinc is absolutely critical for testosterone. It's a direct cofactor in testosterone synthesis. Without adequate zinc, your Leydig cells literally cannot produce testosterone efficiently. A classic study took older men with low zinc intake and gave them zinc supplementation for 6 months. Their testosterone levels doubled from about 8.3 nanomoles per liter to 16. But here's the scary part. Their testosterone plummeted by 75% in just 20 weeks. If you're looking for foods, the best place to look is oysters. Just one oyster provides over 5 milligrams of zinc. But if you're not eating oysters daily, you need around 20 to 30 milligrams from a supplement. Red meat, poultry, and pumpkin seeds are excellent sources as well. Magnesium works differently than zinc. Instead of helping produce testosterone, it increases the amount that's actually available to your tissues by reducing sex hormone binding globulin. In one study, for every 1 milligram per deciliter increase in serum magnesium, total testosterone increased by 48 nanograms per deciliter. The main mechanisms likely involve reduced oxidative stress, lower inflammation, and protection of Leydig cell function. You want at least 400 to 420 milligrams per day. If you're experiencing muscle cramps, fatigue, or poor sleep, you're likely deficient. Supplement with 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate or glycinate at night. The third micronutrient is vitamin D. Vitamin D is technically a hormone, and it's crucial for endocrine function. Low vitamin D correlates directly with low testosterone and poor libido. A year-long study of overweight men found that 3,000 IU of vitamin D daily increased total testosterone by 20 to 25% compared to placebo. Most men need around 2,000 to 5,000 IU daily to reach optimum blood levels of 50 nanograms per milliliter. Now, beyond the basic, there are 3 herbal supplements with serious clinical backing. These aren't your typical gas station pills. These have real research behind them. Ashwagandha works by attacking the biggest testosterone killer, chronic stress. In a double-blind trial, middle-aged men with low sexual desire took 600 milligrams daily for 8 weeks. Their testosterone increased by 18%, free testosterone by 20%, but more importantly, their sexual desire and satisfaction scores shot up by 40%. So here's the mechanism. Ashwagandha lowers cortisol by up to 27%, and since cortisol directly suppresses testosterone production, reducing it allows your natural T to flourish. Recommended doses are 300 to 600 milligrams of high concentration root extract daily. Next, we have Tongat Ali. This Southeast Asian root has some of the most impressive testosterone research I've seen. One study found that 200 milligrams daily brought over 90% of men with low testosterone back into normal ranges within a month. In another trial, men taking Tongat Ali saw testosterone increase by 37% in just 4 weeks, while also reducing cortisol by 16%. The compound works by supporting Leydig cell function and reducing the enzymes that break down testosterone. Use 200 to 400 milligrams of 100-to-1 extract daily. Many people cycle it on 5 days, 2 days off, though this isn't strictly necessary. Then we have fenugreek. Fenugreek contains saponins that may inhibit enzymes that break down testosterone while acting like weak androgens themselves. In a notable study, men taking 600 milligrams daily for 6 weeks saw a 25% increase in libido scores compared to placebo. The men reported improved arousal, sexual performance, and orgasm quality. Take 500 to 600 milligrams daily of a standard extract with food. But testosterone is only half the equation. You also need optimal blood flow for everything to work properly. This is where nitric oxide becomes crucial. L-citrulline converts to L-arginine in your body, which then produces nitric oxide, the gas that dilates blood vessels and enables erections. For men with mild ED, 1.5 grams of L-citrulline twice daily improved erection hardness in 50% of men versus only 8% in placebo, and increased frequency of sex by 68%. It's recommended to take 3 to 6 grams of citrulline malate daily, preferably on an empty stomach. Another is beetroot juice, which is loaded with nitrates that convert directly to nitric oxide. While there's no direct study on beetroot and erectile function, the vascular research is compelling. One study found that a cup of beetroot juice daily lowered blood pressure and improved vascular function in hypertensive patients. Since high blood pressure is a major risk factor for erectile dysfunction, this indirect benefit is significant. Drink 8 ounces of fresh beet juice or take 500 milligrams of beetroot powder 1 to 2 hours before you need the benefit. The beauty of this approach is that you're not just taking random supplements. You're systematically addressing the nutritional deficiencies and metabolic dysfunction that's suppressing your libido. But nutrition is only the first leg of the triangle. What I've learned from working with hundreds of high-performing men is this: nutrition is the foundation, but it's not enough on its own. The next pillar is where most guys either accelerate the results or completely sabotage them. Here's where most guys get it completely wrong. They think more exercise equals better hormones, but there's a phenomenon researchers call exercise-induced hypogonadism, and it's far more common than you think. A UCLA study found that men training at high intensity for more than 10 hours per week were far more likely to have libido than those doing moderate amounts. In fact, 65% of men in the low libido group were doing over 10 hours of strenuous exercise weekly. The problem isn't exercise itself, it's the type and volume. Your body interprets excessive excessive training as chronic stress, elevating cortisol and suppressing your HPG axis. This is what I call the overtraining trap. Here's what the research shows works. Strategic training that maximizes anabolic hormone response while minimizing catabolic stress. Resistance training has the most direct impact on testosterone of any exercise modality, but not all strength training is created equal. When you perform compound movements using large muscle groups, you create an acute testosterone surge that can last 15 to 30 minutes post-workout. A 2004 study found that men who exercise regularly had significantly higher testosterone and growth hormone levels than sedentary peers. But here's the key. It's not about training harder. It's about training smarter. So here's what you should do. Focus on compound movements, squats, deadlifts, lunges, presses, rows, and pull-ups. These recruit multiple muscle groups simultaneously, creating the greatest hormonal response. Train at 60 to 80% of your 1 rep max for 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions. This intensity range maximizes motor unit recruitment without excessive catabolic stress. Limit sessions to about 45 minutes. Research shows that testosterone levels start declining after 45 to 60 minutes of intense training as cortisol begins to rise. Train 2 to 3 times per week with at least 1 day of rest between sessions. This allows for complete hormonal recovery while maintaining the training stimulus. Now on to cardio. Cardio gets a bad rap in the testosterone world, but the right type of cardiovascular training is crucial for libido. The key is understanding the difference between beneficial and harmful cardio. Zone 2 training. Exercising at 60 to 70% of maximum heart rate improves endothelial function without excessive cortisol elevation. This is the intensity where you're breathing heavier but can still carry on a conversation. A study found that regular aerobic exercise significantly improves erectile function scores, particularly in men with vascular issues. One Harvard study showed that just 30 minutes of walking per day was associated with a 41% reduction in erectile dysfunction risk. So here's the protocol. Perform 30 to 45 minutes of zone 2 cardio 3 to 5 times per week. This could be brisk walking, light jogging, cycling, or swimming. Your total weekly volume should be about 150 to 160 minutes of moderate intensity exercises. And you'll also want to avoid chronic high intensity cardio. While some high intensity training can be beneficial, excessive high intensity work elevates cortisol chronically. But here's what most guys miss. Recovery isn't passive. It's an active process that determines whether your training builds you up or breaks you down. Sleep is when your body produces the majority of its daily testosterone. During deep sleep and REM sleep, your hypothalamus releases GnRH, which signals to your pituitary to produce LH, which then stimulates testosterone production in your testes. A University of Chicago study found that men limited to 5 hours of sleep per night for 1 week saw a 10 to 15% drop in daytime testosterone levels. That's equivalent to aging 10 to 15 years hormonally. The optimal range is 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, but it's not just duration, it's quality. Sleep fragmentation from sleep apnea, for example, can devastate testosterone, even if you're getting 8 hours. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which directly suppresses GnRH release. This creates a cascade effect. Less GnRH means less LH, which means less testosterone production. What I've learned from working with hundreds of high-performing men is this: managing stress isn't just about feeling better, it's about protecting your hormonal system. Every training program I design now includes specific stress management protocols because I've seen how crucial this is for maintaining optimal hormonal health. Here's the protocol. Implement 10 to 15 minutes of daily stress reduction, meditation, breath work, or progressive muscle relaxation. Take 1 to 2 complete rest days per week with no intense exercise. And include a deload week every 3 to 4 weeks while you're reducing training volume by 30 to 50%. You'll also want to monitor your resting heart rate and HRV as indicators of recovery status. The key insight is that training and recovering work synergistically. Proper training creates the stimulus for testosterone production, but recovery is when the production actually happens. Think of it like building muscle. You don't get stronger during the workout, you get stronger during recovery. The same principle applies to hormones. The workout creates the signal, but sleep and stress management determine whether your body can respond to that signal. This is why the most successful protocols combine strategic training with aggressive recovery. You're not just exercising, you're systematically optimizing your body's anabolic environment. Your body is constantly sending you signals about your hormonal health, but most guys ignore them until it's too late. What I call hormonal drift happens gradually. Your testosterone doesn't crash overnight. It slowly declines while your body adapts and compensates. By the time you notice obvious symptoms like low energy or decreased libido, you're already months or even years into hormonal decline. But your body has been trying to warn you all along. Your first daily microsignal is morning wood. This is the most reliable daily indicator of your hormonal health. Healthy men typically get 3 to 5 erections during REM sleep and often wake up with one. These nocturnal erections indicate that your testosterone levels, blood flow, and nervous system are all functioning properly. If you're consistently waking up without morning erections, it's an early warning sign that something's off, either hormonally or vascularly. Track this daily on a simple 1 to 10 scale for frequency and firmness. Also, rate your energy level each afternoon around 2 to 3 p.m. on a 1 to 10 scale. Healthy testosterone levels should sustain steady energy throughout the day. If you're consistently crashing in the afternoon, it could indicate hormonal imbalance, poor sleep, or metabolic dysfunction. Now onto weekly tracking. Measure your waist circumference weekly. This directly correlates with visceral fat, which produces aromatase, the enzyme that converts testosterone to estrogen. Men with waist over 40 inches often have low testosterone and high estrogen. You want to target under 37 inches to start, eventually under 35 inches for optimal hormonal health. Now onto sexual frequency and performance. Track both attempts and successful encounters weekly. This isn't just about libido, it's about the complete sexual response cycle. Note any patterns, stress, sleep, or training intensity. Studies show that men with higher sexual frequency have lower rates of testosterone deficiency, creating a positive feedback loop. Now we move on to quarterly assessments. Now I want you to do a DEXA scan every 3 to 4 months so we can track your lean mass versus your fat percentage. Optimal testosterone production requires a favorable body composition, higher lean mass, and lower body fat. We want to target 15% body fat or less for optimal health. Next up is blood work. Test these key markers every 6 to 12 months at minimum. Your total testosterone, free T, estradiol, SHBG, vitamin D, and CRP. The beauty of monitoring is that it creates a feedback loop with your fuel and movement strategies. Poor sleep quality might indicate you need to adjust your training intensity. Declining morning erections could signal the need for more zinc or less stress. For me, whenever I notice my morning wood or nighttime erections start to drop off, I don't ignore it. I dig into the data. I look at my sleep quality, how hard I'm training, and whether I'm eating enough to support my recovery. 9 out of 10 times, it's a mix of overtraining and undereating that's draining my energy, spiking my cortisol, and wrecking my sleep. This isn't about becoming obsessed with metrics, it's about developing body awareness. The men who maintain high libido into their 40s, 50s, and 60s are the ones who pay attention to these signals and make adjustments before problems become serious. When you combine all 3 pillars, strategic nutrition, smart training with proper recovery, and consistent monitoring, you create what I call the libido multiplication effect. Each pillar supports the other. This isn't a quick fix or a magic pill. It's a systematic approach to rebuilding your hormonal health from the ground up. The men who implement this protocol consistently see improvements in energy, confidence, body composition, and yes, libido that last for decades. The protocol I've just shared with you has transformed the lives of hundreds of men I've worked with. But knowing the information and implementing it consistently are 2 different things. If you want the exact step-by-step system and expert guidance to optimize your hormonal health naturally without wasting time or second guessing every step, book a call with me and let's get you dialed in.